one spirit, one team.
Hello, rugby fans, and welcome to our special coverage of Super Sunday. Today we have the U18 Mainland Women's Final between Bayside U18 Women, they're in blue, and Abbotsford U18 Women, they are in white. And kickoff has happened, and we're underway here at Clahaney Park in West Vancouver. We'll go over the starting lineups in just a moment. Running to our right with an offload to number 13, Nakisa Lavelle. Casbaldo taken down. Our scrum half, Tassani Lavelle. There's a break on for number 4, Morgan King Rosscamp. And she's gone. Check that. That may have been number 3, Kadeja White. But a very early start, a very early lead for Abbotsford. They went through the regular season undefeated, and it looks like they may be off to a very bright start here in this one as well. So before I even have an opportunity to go through the starting lineups, we have 5 points on the board for Abbotsford, with a conversion still to come right underneath the posts. This is number 13, Nakisa Lavelle, lining up the conversion kick, which is good. Bit of a delayed reaction there from the touch judge, but a very easy kick to make, and it was successfully done. So within moments of our opening kickoff, the score in favor of Abbotsford, 7-0, very early on. Off the restart, bouncing ball collected by Abbotsford, running into the line. Setting up a good ruck there. Now breaking some tackles was Mackenzie Carson. She headed right into traffic. Getting to the gain line and no further before that ball is down. An advantage being played and a penalty to Bayside. Offside. Check that, a penalty to Abbotsford. They thought about doing the quick restart, tap and go, and that's what they'll do. Fending off 3 tacklers was Mackenzie Carson, the hooker. She's brought down. That ball spilled loose. But Abbotsford able to retain possession. They have overlap on the right-hand side. If they can use it, they probably won't have to. Number 13, Kadeja White offloads. Check that, 13's Nakisa Lavelle. They're stopped just short, and the ball is dropped. Sorry if I missed that on the camera for you there, but the ball's dropped just at the try line. And I believe we're going to have a knock-on charged against Abbotsford. So Bayside gets out of jail a little bit there as they avoid going down by a 2-score margin in the very early goings. That play was all set up by a great run from Mackenzie Carson, who fended off several defenders, gained about 20 meters for her club, and they were able to gain a lot of territory in the phases following that. Put in for Bayside, that's Leah Colasco, scrum half for Bayside. We'll go over the starting lineups just now as they set up this scrum. Starting for Bayside at number 1, Courtney Collins. 2 is Kayla Sanderson. 3 is Olivia Killen. 4, Samantha Jack. 5, Madison Smith. 6 is Sage Hominick. 7 is Louisa Underhill. 8 is Taid Yund. 9 is Leah Colasco. 10, Berlin Ceciliz. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that later. 11 is Cameron Perry. 12 is Tanika Bonneville. 13 is Anna Santos. 14, Mackenzie Adam. And 15, Annie Blundell. For Abbotsford, your starting lineup: number 1, Vienna Schroeder. Number 2, Mackenzie Carson. Number 3, Kadeja White. 14, Morgan King Roskamp. 5 is Beth Hand. 6, Morgan Walker plays underway right at the Bayside goal line. Pushed into touch was one of the Bayside players. So Abbotsford will get a line out. Check that. Something happened before that, which I missed, and I apologize. But Bayside does get the clearance, and they are able to clear their lines. So Abbotsford will have this line out in a good attacking position right at the 22-meter line. Oh, I see what happened. That was a penalty. So that was a Bayside line out, and that's how they were able to clear the lines. But the ball is dropped and collected by Abbotsford, and they're threatening on offense once again. Hands to the left. Drop ball would have been a try if it had been collected. Once again, Bayside a bit fortunate as Abbotsford unable to squeeze the pill. Picking up the ball is Autumn Garrett, number 10. She knocks it forward. And Bayside with an opportunity to regroup. The ball is kicked high and into touch and out of play, and that gives us an opportunity to go over the remaining parts of the Abbotsford starting 15. I believe I left off at number 6, Morgan Walker. Number 7 is Cass Baldo. Number 8, Sydney Stoltz. Number 9, Tausani Laval. 10 is Autumn Garrett. 11, Emmy Baker. 12, Gabby Von Ailing. 13 is Nakisa Laval. 14, Vivi Johnson, and no number 15, so I'm imagining 16, Sophia Belcher, maybe the fullback, but we'll sort that out as the game goes on, and this lineout will need to be retaken. As there is a violation in that lineout, so we'll scrum down, again, right at the 22-meter line. Conditions will certainly be a factor today. It is a muddy, sloppy, boggy ground out there. We had that torrential rain on Friday, and then we had 4 games here at Klahanie Park on this field, including the men's and the first division premiers and men's games, and those cleats certainly chopped up the turf. And then it started pouring rain again this morning just before kickoff, so it's a soggy pitch out there. And the water certainly affecting the hands as that one is spilled into the corner by one of the Bayside players. So we'll have a line out in attacking territory for Abbotsford. Ball knocked down off the line out. A little bit of a switch play there as Autumn Garrett makes her move for the line. She's brought down. And again, numbers out to the left, unable to squeeze the pill. This has happened 2 or 3 times now to Abbotsford. the scoreline could be even more lopsided, but just the one try score so far. But it's been all Abbotsford for the first 10 minutes here. And a knock-on being called and another scrum. We're going to see quite a few of these today, I'd imagine, with the wet conditions, with the muddy conditions. And we'll see which club is more organized in the pack, more organized in the scrum, and who's got that stronger push, as it will be a big factor here today. Looked like that one was brought back into goal by Bayside. Or at least touchdown in goal. So we're going to have the restart drop out. The ball is collected on the left side of the field by Cass Baldo. They set up the ruck. Now they'll try to use the center of the field. But that was Khadija White taking about 3 tacklers with her. Now numbers out wide if they can use it. Great defense there by Bayside. I may have missed that in the camera. I apologize. But Bayside doing a formidable job of defending their line as they stop 3 or 4 advances now from Abbotsford. Bayside under a lot of pressure in this game's early minutes. Abbotsford steals a ball on the scrum. Again, a drop ball with the opportunity to score, but it's dropped backwards in the opinion of our referee, Lindsay Bottomer. So Abbotsford continues to attack. No breaks at all for Bayside in terms of getting out of their own end, as the pressure is relentless. Both of these clubs, good, strong sides. I would say Abbotsford is the favorite in this game, as they have run over clubs all year in the U18 Women's League. A good push here by the pack, but Abbotsford able to kick it out. Check that, Bayside able to kick it out. Abbotsford falling on the ball and once again moving back to the attack. Quick tap and go, a little too quick in the opinion of our referees. He'll slow this one down. But the penalty to Abbotsford. Now they'll use it. Hard hit there, ball spilled, as that was Khadija White losing the handle on the ball. I've called her name quite a few times this morning. And our referee says that was a knock-on as a result of that hard tackle. So give Bayside a lot of credit. They have defended well. They've thrown in some good hits. They've had a little bit of luck on their side as Abbotsford has dropped the ball in a scoring position a couple of times now. But so far, just the one try allowed. And they'll have yet another opportunity to collect the ball and kick it out of their own end, which they do. Very nice kick outside the 22-meter line, probably closer to 30 meters from goal. And finally, a little relief for Bayside's defenders as they catch their breath, albeit momentarily, as they will have to defend this line out. Clean line out taken by Abbotsford. Now the dummy switched inside. Good offload there by Nikisa Laval. Couple of more players available to the right. And now they use the pass to the right. Autumn Garrett making her move to the line. One last pass, and I did not catch the number, but the Abbotsford winger was thrown into touch, bundled up very nicely, right outside the goal area. And again, strong defense by Bayside, as that was number 14, Vivi Johnson, in the pink cleats, pink socks, that was thrown into touch rather unceremoniously by one of the Bayside defenders, saving her team once again. Put in for Abbotsford in a great attacking position. One more pass to make, and they're in for the try. I believe that was Autumn Garrett, number 10, who took the ball in for Abbotsford to extend their lead. That makes the score 12-0 in favor of the girls from the Valley. With an opportunity for a conversion now from Nikisa Laval. She steadies herself, puts up a good kick, but it drifts wide. So the score remains 12-0. We're about 20 minutes in to this first half of the game between Abbotsford and Bayside, our lower mainland U18 women's final. The sun breaks through the clouds here at Clahany Park for the first time this morning. And Bayside, looking for their breakthrough as well, have not even had the ball on offense, have not had it at all in the Abbotsford half. And they are kicking away once again. Ball knocked on the restart. Bayside collects it, and now they have their first opportunity to use the ball in the offensive half of the field. They will have the put in on this scrum after that high restart was spilled by one of the Abbotsford players. Put in by Colasco as she spins the ball to her left. Now right in the middle of the field. Bayside rucking effectively as they're able to retain possession. That ball was dropped forward. Referee looking at his whistle, and he'll say, yeah, that was a knock on. And we're going to get another scrum down. As that was number 16 for Bayside who dropped the ball. I don't have a name for that number, unfortunately, but I'll do my best to collect that for you during the game here. Lavelle spins it out. Good set piece there as Nikisa Laval found some open space to run in. And a hard tackle knocks the ball loose. And once again, another knock on being played. Advantage here for Bayside. And now the penalty. Not rolling away. Will they use this penalty quickly? No, they're going to slow this one down and kick for territory. A low kick stays in play. Sydney Stoltz fending off a couple of tacklers, getting the ball over the halfway line. Khadijah White looked like she was going to be leg tackled there, but broke a couple of them. And the ball is advancing for Abbotsford. Good counter-rucking by Bayside as they look for the steal. And they do turn over the ball. Turnover ball here. Abbotsford looking to score again. Autumn Garrett brought down. Again, tenacious tackling by Bayside. Some last-ditch defending worked out well. As Garrett looked to score her second try of the match. And not only did they slow down Garrett, but Bayside also caused the turnover. They have their ball right on their own try line. And it's loose, and it's dotted down. And is that a try? Yes, it is. I didn't collect a number there. It was spilled by one of the Abbotsford, check that, Bayside defenders right on her own try line. And as the ball hit the deck, so did one of the Abbotsford players, and she jumped on top of it to score the try. So Abbotsford extends their lead up to 17-0 here in the first half, with an opportunity to put a couple more on the board. And it's been all Abbotsford so far this morning. And that conversion by Nikisa Laval is good. That makes it 19-0. So 3 tries scored so far by Abbotsford, with 1 missed conversion. And it's been all Abbotsford so far. As we wait for the restart, we'd like to thank BC Rugby's sponsors who help bring us live streaming coverage every Saturday, and on this special occasion, our Super Sunday finals. Canadian Direct Insurance, B2 Gold, Neurogenesis Happy Water, Adira Live West Coast, Extreme Rugby Wear, Okanagan Spring Brewery, Grosvenor, Avis & Young, Thorstenson's, Langara Fishing Adventures, Adidas, and Big Kahuna. Off the restart, Abbotsford has the ball once again and are looking to attack. Khadijah White has room on her right to run. She passes to Garrett, who turns the corner, hands it off to Gabby Von Elling, and she's brought down. Looked like the break was on, but good strong tackling by the Bayside defenders. We've said that a lot this morning. Numbers out left. Khadijah White overthrows Emmy Baker. Check that wasn't Khadijah White. That was Nikisa Laval overthrowing her winger on the left side. But Abbotsford does collect the ball, and they're right back on the attack once again. Advantage penalty coming to Abbotsford, coming in through the side. Check that, leaving their feet in the ruck. Abbotsford with an opportunity to score, just meters away once again. Van Elling is at the line, and she is over. And the assault continues. It's certainly a case where Bayside's defenders are probably getting a little bit tired. They have put in a very strong effort on defense, but that wall is starting to crack, and the points are now flooding through. 24 on the board for Abbotsford, and this one looks like it could be a whitewash. Nikisa Laval lines up her 4th conversion attempt. She slips and falls and still gets it over. It looked like a David Beckham free kick as the ball sails high over the bar after the kicker slips and falls. If you remember that penalty kick from Beckham in the Euro, I believe in 2004, it looked just like that. But this one looks equal in form, but better in terms of results. A couple more points being added to the Abbotsford scoreline, making it 26-0. We got a knock on behind the play, and we'll bring it back for the scrum. And with the put into Bayside, this may be their best attacking position so far in this game. We haven't called a lot of Bayside numbers. Leah Kalasco, one of the few, as she's been responsible for these scrum put-ins, and there have been quite a few scrums so far. And a penalty to Bayside. As Abbotsford thought they had stolen the ball, but in fact had committed the penalty in the scrum. And now Bayside on the attack for the first time today. But the ball is slipped out of the hands of, I believe that was number 16 for Bayside. And Autumn Garrett is thrown into touch. So a line out coming up for Bayside at the 22-meter line, and they will be able to continue their foray on offense. Berlin Cecilesia spinning the ball to her right. It's loose on the ground. Pretty easy to come in from the side there as the ball comes out of the ruck, but it's going to be a knock-on charged against Bayside and a scrum with the put-in coming up to Abbotsford. Bayside just hasn't looked quite as organized as Abbotsford in this one. The women from Bayside have had just this one phase or series of phases in the offensive zone. And that territorial possession will come to an end as Abbotsford kicks the ball deep. Falling on it is the fullback, Annie Blundell. She has no one in support. The ball's turned over. And the ball thrown to the right where Vivi Johnson races towards the corner, and she is in for the try. So some good tactical kicking by Abbotsford as there was very little coverage back there in the Bayside backfield. And when Annie Blundell did run onto it and drop down onto the ball, she had no support whatsoever. And after that turnover, Vivi Johnson is able to collect a pass and use her speed around the outside corner to get in for the try. That makes the score 31-0. It's been all Abbotsford so far as we have, I'm going to check the clock. We're at half past, so 5 minutes left in the first half. Nikisa Laval puts up a conversion that drifts to the right. No good. Long range, bit of an angle. Tricky kick but unable to make that conversion. So the score line now sits at 31-0, and I said we had about 5 minutes to go to half. I was wrong. We had about 5 seconds to go to half. So now have our halftime break. In this one, it has been a dominant performance by the girls from Abbotsford as they put 31 points on the board in the opening half of this game and are sitting very well to take this Lower Mainland final and play the winner of Castaway Wanderers and Cowichan next weekend. So we'll go to our halftime break. It'll be short. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
At Canadian Direct Insurance, we've all had a first car, and a second car, and then something that more closely resembles a bus. We've carpooled, car tripped, and carpool tripped. We've even had car mishaps. That's why we give you the kind of service we'd expect for ourselves. Canadian Direct Insurance.
Silly Willy Billy is a million miles away. When I had a little mind that I needed him to say, but I don't now, cause I'm mom and dad, I'm a grown-up boy. Saving all my money, gonna buy myself a new toy. Took a jet to the bottom of the visionary mind, where I'm making up the words to a song that doesn't rhyme. If you can't see me, then you better leave a note. Wait, scratch that, cause I'm never gonna be at home. Home, such a funny little thought. Everybody thinks now that I oughta rock. Nah, true, if you know what's best for you. Shut my eyes down now, can I get a deep blue? Sipping 7 up like a full-grown man. Even got a beard now, got it looking so grand. On account of the land in the middle of my palm, and I can't admit I don't belong. Gotta jump now, it's almost 75 degrees. If you're looking at the wing, I bet you feel the breeze. Got enough sun now to make the skin wanna dive. Outside one time, let's fly, high rise. Got an itty bitty care on the itty bitty earth. If you don't know what to wear, then you don't know what it's worth. If you don't know what it's worth, then you don't know what you're missing. Everybody in the right mind gonna wish in. Oh. Okay, here we go. Ha!
Don't waste your time away in life. It's worth the wait. Never too late.
For every passion, there is an ultimate destination. A place revered by countless tales. For salmon fishing, that destination is Langara Island. Immerse yourself in natural splendor and enjoy the greatest fishing experience of your life at Langara Fishing Lodge.
Welcome back to Clahany Park for second half action between Bayside U18 Women and Abbotsford U18 Women. It was an interesting first half with Abbotsford on the front foot the entire time. I'd like to give a lot of recognition and a lot of encouragement for the Bayside women's players who defended very, very well. The scoreline doesn't reflect that, but there were a number of very strong tackles, some good defense. Abbotsford just definitely the stronger team, and as fitness and fatigue came into play, after the end of some phases, that's when Abbotsford was getting the points. But Bayside doing a commendable job of defending their lines. Some positive talk we heard from them during the halftime break as they were on the near touch line to us. So they're still far from discouraged despite the scoreline and despite being down probably too many points to get back into this one the way Abbotsford's playing. Abbotsford, on the other hand, well, they came into this game with the plan. Coach Jen Ross has the players very well organized, and they are executing on that game plan exactly as designed. 31 points scored in that half, and they look to add some more as the second half gets underway. Right in front of us, Bayside causing the turnover. Going for a line break was Leah Colasco. She nearly did it. She managed to get around the first defender with the sidestep, but was brought down. She'll try that once again. Check that. That's number 10, Berlin Secheliza, who I know I'm not getting her name right. I have a name written down in front of me, and I do apologize to any of her friends or family that are watching that they know her name is being pronounced incorrectly. We'll bring this one back. Penalty to Abbotsford. Check that, penalty to Bayside. And they're deciding right now whether to go with the tap and go or whether to kick for touch, as this one is right in the middle of the park. They're going to go with a set piece. Louisa Underhill with a sideways slashing run, gains a few meters for Bayside. They're up to the 10-meter line, and there's a break. Could it be the first scoring opportunity for Bayside? Not quite. A good gain there by Bayside, but defense by Abbotsford is the order of the day, as that Bayside winger, I believe that was Mackenzie Adam, was pushed into touch. A try-saving tackle. And Abbotsford keeps that shutout alive with an opportunity to get the ball back on this lineout, and they do. Ball dropped, advantage being played to Bayside on that knock-on. Let's see if they can set something up on offense here. Anna Santos had that ball slip from her hands. We'll bring it back to the original penalty, the original knock-on, I should say. And so a scrum put in for Bayside. Again, if they can gain this scrum, they'll be in a good attacking position with an opportunity to put their first points on the board today. Referee Lindsay Bottomer, originally from Australia. Not quite liking the way that those front rows are lining up against each other, and we'll reset the scrum. Good push by Abbotsford. They're going to turn it over. No, Bayside able to hook it back, but now the ball's dropped, spilled, and collected by the ladies from Abbotsford, but not cleanly, as once again we're going to have to line up for the scrum. We've seen innumerable scrums in this one, and the pack certainly favoring Abbotsford in the early going. And they look to continue that trend of winning the ball in the scrum here in the second half. This one nicely collected, though, by Bayside, who had the put in. Now looks like something might be on for Bayside as they push inside the 22-meter line, but that ball is intercepted by Bayside. didn't catch the number, but breaking a couple of tackles, a couple of arm tackles there. Still down on the ground. That was number 2, Mackenzie Carson. She gets up slowly and back into the play. Now an interception for Bayside. They are right on the attacking front foot. Madison Smith, we haven't called her name yet today. She collected that one and got a couple more meters for her club. Now Bayside threatening. Pushing for their first points. Colasco spins it left, drop ball, and a knock-on probably coming here. Yeah, that's the case. Disappointing for Bayside as they look to get their first try of the game. They were in a good position, and a bit of an unforced error there with the knock-on. Showing a lot of ticker in this one as they're down 31-0. But certainly far from giving up. And some good phases of rugby there as they tried to get on the board for the first time. High clearance kick. Dropped but backwards by Annie Blundell. Now the ball is on the deck. Both teams fighting for it. It's right in the bottom of that ruck. Possession gained by Bayside. Louisa Underhill stripped of the ball, but then tackles the woman who stole it from her, and we have a penalty for not releasing the tackler. And this penalty to Bayside, which they will use on the set piece here on the tap and go. Louisa Underhill spun around as she looks for help on the offload, decides to hold on to it. That was the right play. Now probing up the middle of the field. Abbotsford trying to cause the turnover, but the ball is out, and we have hands in the ruck. So a second consecutive penalty to Bayside. Check that. Hands in the ruck. Penalty to Abbotsford, who use it quickly. Tausani Laval gains about 10 meters of territory with that good run. Nice offload there, collected by Beth Hand. Laval spins that to her right to Autumn Garrett. Bit of a sloppy pass, cleaned up on the right wing. Good defense by Bayside as Abbotsford struggles to break the gain line on 2 or 3 phases here. A kick chopped forward, and the ball is loose. Getting there first was Vivi Johnson. The ball is released to the ground, not going to hand. Sydney Stoltz. So a bit of a miscue there by Abbotsford, who had some room to run with no fullback and only the one winger in defense. But a knock on as the result. But they're going to bring this one back to an earlier knock on after that kick. One of the Bayside players had knocked that on with their hand. The Bayside steals this one off the scrum. Louisa Underhill hits the deck. Quickly tackled is Leah Colasco. Abbotsford causing the turnover. Pushing hard in the ruck, trying to get that ball back. The ball is out to the side, and it is scooped up and then right back into the bottom of the pile. And this scrum will be going to Abbotsford. A bit of loose play there as the ball was pushed around on the turf. And it's muddy out there. Both of these teams' kits just absolutely smeared with mud, especially amongst those forwards. Laval to Garrett. Nice switch play to the inside to Nikisa Laval. That pass to the center needed just a little more airtime. And it gives Bayside enough of a chance to collect themselves and get bodies back in position and slow the ball down enough for them to cause the knock-on. Actually, that one was pushed all the way into touch before it was spilled forward. So we'll have a line out to Bayside. And a short line out will need to be retaken as there's some barging in the line out. Penalty to Abbotsford. Referee Lindsay Bottomer doing a nice job. There's often some challenges that go along with refereeing a game where the ball spends so much time on the deck, just conditions prevailing here. That ball is slippery, the turf is very muddy. So we've seen a lot of really scrappy loose play. Kadeja White goes for a run, trying to break the line, takes 3 tacklers with her and powers over the line. Great try scored there by number 3, Kadeja White. Her second try of the game, I believe. Good display of athleticism, very powerful runner. She was able to drag a couple of Bayside defenders over the line with her. And she extends the Abbotsford lead up to 36-0. Nikisa Laval will try for the conversion. That kick looks good. And it is a good conversion kick. Well done there on this slippery turf. Manages to get the footing that she needed and adds 2 more points to her team's tally. $38-0. Well, I think we can confidently say that this game will belong to Abbotsford. The question now is, can Bayside gain a moral victory here in their last game of the autumn season, get some points on the board, have something to talk about in the clubhouse afterwards, and just try to enjoy this game as best as they can. They've done a fairly good job on defense, but they've been outmatched by the attack of Abbotsford. That ball lost in the sun by Casbaldo, and we're going to get a knock on there as that high ball off the restart was into the sun. So could this be Bayside's chance to set something up on the attack? Louisa Underhill slashing her way forward. Ball comes out of the ruck and is thrown back to Berlin. Player down. Everybody's okay. So we have another knock on this one going to be charged against Bayside. And so that opportunity drifts away. And Abbotsford has been the stronger pack. They will have the put in. It's about 15 minutes left to play here in this game. Mackenzie Carson offloads. And now going for a run, I believe that's Sydney Stoltz. And she is in under the posts for another Abbotsford try. Some tired legs on defense from Bayside, and Abbotsford just continues to pour it on. So we'll add 5 more points to the board, making it 43-0. A scoreline that does not necessarily reflect very well on how tenacious Bayside has been in this game. But give credit where credit is due, and Abbotsford has looked very organized and have kept their foot on the gas the entire game. That conversion is good. And we'll get play back underway here in just a moment. And that was indeed number 8, Sydney Stoltz, who scored that last try for Abbotsford. Tanika Bonneville with the restart kick. Bayside able to turn it over. Colasco bolting forward. And we'll have another scrum off the knock on, with this time the put in going to Bayside. They've lost a couple of these scrums against the head, so they definitely want to be able to keep their own ball here and spin it out to those backs on the right side of the scrum. There's a good push from Abbotsford, but the referee, Lindsay Bottomer, didn't like the way that one was binding, and they'll have to reset the forwards. And again, our referee not liking the way that one was starting. Well, this will give us an opportunity to thank our partners who bring us streaming rugby here on bcrugby.com. We'd like to thank Canadian Direct Insurance, B2 Gold, Neurogenesis Happy Water, Adira Live West Coast, Extreme Rugby Wear, Okanagan Spring Brewery, Grosvenor, Avis & Young, Thorstenson's, Langara Fishing Adventures, Adidas, and Big Kahuna. Bayside rucking nicely as they charge over the 22-meter line in possession. No support there for that loose ball as it's kicked forward. Sorry, I think my zoom was off on the camera a little bit, so you probably missed that. But the penalty here coming to Bayside, and they will use it quickly. Just a little bit outside of kicking range, I would say. So Louisa Underhill makes an attacking run, and now Colasco up to the mark. They're about 15 meters away from goal. Best scoring chance of the second half for Bayside. They're on the attack, a high tackle. As that was number 16 brought down. She catches her breath. Bit winded on that high tackle. And now off the penalty, quick tap and go. Driving forward, about 10 meters left. Bayside in a great position to get their first points of the game. right at the line. The ball is presented but turned over, as I didn't see anybody from Abbotsford go through the gate. But it was collected and cleared by one of the Abbotsford players. Bayside trying to reorganize. Good leg drive there. Ball presented just a couple of meters short of the line. Madison Smith pushes forward, being held up by several Abbotsford defenders. Advantage being played. And now an offside penalty called by our referee. And they'll bring this one back for a scrum, just the 5-meter line. Check that. They decided to take the penalty quickly. They'll go with the tap and go. Once referee Lindsay Bottomer is satisfied that everyone's happy, and they'll maybe go for the drop goal penalty here. Put some points on the board. Kick is up. Very nicely done. As that kick is good. Bit unconventional, not using the tee, just setting that one up right off the drop goal. And Bayside, who've shown a lot of heart here in the second half, despite getting pounded on the score line, finally do get some points of their own to show for this game. And a nice display of rugby skill there, using the drop goal right down the middle. And that makes the score 45-3 as we close out the last few minutes of the second half of our Lower Mainland U18 Women's semifinal, provincial semifinal. It's our Lower Mainland final. Louisa Underhill taking some punishment on the bottom of that ruck. Some feet in the back. She gets up. Bayside will use this penalty to kick for territory, but the ball remains in play. Very nicely scooped up by Sophia Belcher. She breaks about 3 tackles and still on her feet and is finally spun down to the deck. Stoltz goes down, the ball not presented quickly, but it is used effectively by Abbotsford, who try to use hands to the right. Ball is turned over. Both teams looking for it in the bottom of the pile, but a penalty coming for not rolling away. So this penalty going to Bayside, as one of the Abbotsford players is very slow to regain her feet. That's number 5, Beth Hand. She found herself on the bottom of that pile. She gets up, no worse for wear. And Bayside really liking these tap and goes as opposed to kicking for territory, and why not just use the possession while you can keep it. Just every time that Abbotsford has had the ball, it's been so hard to turn it over from them. So I can see why Bayside would want to use every possession they have instead of kicking it away. And a couple of their kicks have been short of touch too, so not a lot of kicking power on there in the backfield for Bayside, so these tap and goes are the order of the day. Some sideways running as Courtney Collins was brought down. There's number 16 brought down from behind. I don't have her name. She looks to be under some duress as she gets back up slowly. She's all right. Limping back into the play. And we'll have a scrum with about, I'd say, 5 minutes left in the second half. of a game that's been controlled from start to finish by Abbotsford. Abbotsford coach Jen Ross will be very happy with the way that her troops performed today. Very clinical in their finishing. Some strong defense from Bayside in the early moments prevented a number of tries in the first half. But eventually, once the floodgates opened, the points all just started streaming in. A penalty to Bayside. Referee not happy with the forwards, the front row of the Abbotsford scrum. Louisa Underhill's had a good game. She took that one forward. She's been given the ball a number of times running into the line today. Hasn't found that line break she's been looking for. And the ball was dropped, and it's going to be a put in for yet another scrum. This time the put in is going to be by Tassani Laval of Abbotsford. Some early pushing in the scrum. Lots of tired bodies here at the end of the season, at the end of the game. Some collected bumps and bruises from the last few weeks of regular season play. Laval with a spin move as she goes to deck. Going over the top to make that pass and spinning the ball to the left. There's room to pass it if they can use their hands. Now the ball is brought back for an earlier penalty. They'll have to get it quickly back over to the mark, as they wanted to do a tap and go. Cass Baldo gaining some yards nicely there as she runs just by the touchline, but the ball is spilled forward. Advantage being played to Bayside, and now we'll come back for the scrum. Nice burst of speed from number 7, Cass Baldo. As Abbotsford places that ball into the very, very soggy corner, the far side of the field. But the put in will be to Bayside after some good defense causes that spill. Clearance kick made into open field, ball knocked forward, but picked up, and now we're gonna have this one brought back for the knock on as the referee Lindsay Bottomer checks his watch in the game's dying moments. Vivi Johnson had eyes for the try line, but of course was running with the ball illegally after that knock on, so we bring it back for the scrum. Put into Bayside as they collect their own ball. Underhill met very quickly with a nice leg tackle to wrap her up. She'll try once more. Khadija White with a strong tackle on Underhill, and that is our game. So congratulations in order for Abbotsford U18 Women. They are our champions for the U18 mainland final by a score of 45-3. And give a lot of credit to the ladies from Bayside. They were overmatched in this game, but they showed a lot of heart, played very positive rugby, got their points on the board when they finally had an opportunity to do so, and played really strong defense, just ran out of gas on many occasions. And the girls from Abbotsford took advantage of every opportunity they were given to put points on the board. And Coach Jen Ross talking over with her players. Very happy club from Abbotsford as these two teams shake hands. So Abbotsford will face the winner of Castaway Wanderers and Cowichan, which is happening on Vancouver Island today. And the winner of that match will join Abbotsford in the U18 Women's Provincial Final happening next Sunday. So that wraps up our broadcast for this morning, but we will be back. We will be presenting the U18 Men's Final at 2:30. That game between Capilano and, I want to say Abbotsford. I'll check that for you. I should know. But we'll have the Men's U18 Final in just a few hours, so join us for that. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we'll see you again shortly.